You do know you're not alone in this, don't you?
We scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Hi, Canada. I'm Don from the province with a stampede of opportunities, Alberta. I'm proud of CPP Investments. They invest in opportunities like Canadian energy, infrastructure, technology, and more. CPP Investments, helping grow the CPP fund for generations to come.
For cold and flu.
Okay, is that better? You should be able to hear me now. Like I was saying, welcome to my Hussar's Honor tournament. Um, this is the first out of hopefully a series of tournaments, and it's really just a fancy name for saber only tournaments that um, we've done for quite a while. We've just edited the names of the titles. So again, like I was telling other people, let us know what you think of the changes. If you think there's some flaw with them, if you think the titles should be permanent, if you think they shouldn't be, let us know, because these are all things that we as a mod team are still looking into. So nothing is set in stone. The only thing set in stone pretty much is the title. So also Tao or anybody else, if you want to come in and commentate, feel free. Apologies for the delayed start. Just had some technical issues and stuff, so I'll double check Discord as well, Discord audio if anybody wants to join. And yes, we need the overlay. Recording started. What? What recording? One moment. Not sure what that was, but some sort of Steam recording. Don't know how you get rid of that. There we go. I don't know how I did that, but I'm getting pings. Okay, don't have much time today. Well, we'll get through it as fast as we can. Control F10. It's not working for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, I can't get the overlay to come up. That's really strange. Pressing Control F10 like you usually do. Or is it Control F11? No, that's how you start the recording. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. But either way, Control F10 should have brought up like the whole overlay thing for me to use, but for some reason that doesn't work. So that's fine. We can use OBS. I don't mind. That's what we have this for. I'll just have to keep that in mind. That's how we switch the names now. Gotta go back to this old system. Nonetheless, Roderick, you are fighting me first. My name's already on the right, so that's convenient. I'll get Parsec up and we'll get going. Probably should quit that. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but... Like I said, let us know what you think of the titles, YouTube chat, or general. I'm not getting a lot of feedback from the community, so... Appreciate that, Runs with Bears. Yes, liking does probably help a little bit with the algorithm. If nothing else, it certainly causes no harm. While we're waiting, I'll check the Discord settings here. Make sure the correct audio settings are on there as well. So Roderick will be fighting me first. We are doing a round robin because the turnout is a little bit low. Some people left last minute. That is okay. That's what round robin's for. We get through it as quickly as we can, as many fights as possible. Should be a lot of fun. And we'll give Roderick about another minute or so to join, and you guys know the drill. We just move on to the next fight, and we move on as we go. I think Plebeian said he was leaving, but I don't see him removed from the standings, so I don't know what's up with that. Okay, we'll give him another 30 seconds. I thought he was here. Okay, don't see anything from Discord, so I guess we'll probably move on, unless he joins like right now. And again, we'll come back if we need to. That's not a problem. So Plebeian versus Apostle. It might seem like I'm a little impatient. Oh, he's coming. Excellent. It might seem like I'm a little bit impatient, but that's just so that we move through the tournament as efficiently as possible. More than happy to come back and do matches as needed. We've sometimes had people come back and do like multiple matches in a row, so that's not a big deal. But if we spend like a minute waiting for everybody, then it can slow things down a little bit. The idea of this is a lot of fights, less time, and that means everybody's spending more time fighting than waiting, so that's the philosophy behind these round robins, but it might go a little slower this time. It looks like we're dealing with certain technical problems, but that's okay. Okay, I'm just making sure all of that is off, because we've got all these unnecessary settings here. And it looks like it's all off, so that's good. No slow-mo. All the rest of it, it'll just be slow-mo on kills, I think, which isn't the end of the world. Roderick on the left, I'll be on the right. Yeah, so you gotta remember you guys can't actually see who's on what side now, necessarily, so... Yeah. I don't know what's up with the overlay. I pressed Control F10 like it usually should. And it doesn't come on, so... I don't know. Oh yes, and just a reminder, you get one round since it's a round robin, and you know, all the normal rules. Just saber only, that's the only restriction. GG, Roderick. Not gonna lie, by the way, I am feeling slightly under the weather, so I don't know if that's evident in my voice. It's not that bad, but head is also hurting a little bit, but we'll get through it. It's probably just a cold, but it's not that bad right now, so. Okay, I don't know if Plebeian is in or not. I don't think he is, but oh, okay. You didn't see a leave option on challenge? It should be visible. I think you go to participants and you can just exit like that. But anyway, it's in there somewhere. No problem. So, we'll have to disqualify Plebeian. That's not a big deal. And by the way, this is points based, so there's two ways we can do this. We can just give everybody 7 points, or we can remove them. I think we'll just remove them. Let me just make sure I got the right guy. Yep, Plebeian forfeit. There you go. And so that just resolves the matches immediately, and I don't have to go in and do every individual one. Ezekiel against Pekla. Yeah, my host is pretty close. Pekla is over in California, and I'm in Alberta, so. Okay, Pekla on the left. I gotta remember I gotta do OBS. I don't know if someone's in contact with Racer, but that's the only person I can think of who would be able to help with this. It's bizarre that it would all stop working out of nowhere. I think Venator was having problems with it too, so it's definitely a universal thing, I think. But it's not a huge deal. I'll probably revamp the whole naming thing that I have on OBS so that it's smoother, so that it doesn't look quite as terrible. It's not very professional right now, but it works for our purposes. Okay, so Pekla on the left going with Samuel. Ezekiel on the right also going with Samuel. Same skins too. Big sidestep there from Ezekiel, and that move is slow, but it definitely hits very hard. Sometimes wraps around the guard too. Now they're both playing very tightly. That's generally how you want to play Samuel. You reserve those big moves for when you have an opening, or for when you're able to force an opening. And there's another snipe there from Ezekiel. I think Pekla is in the middle of an attack. Good sidestep from Pekla as Ezekiel shoots in there. First going for a cut, then going for a grab. Both launching attacks again. A stab from Ezekiel, but he goes back. And then he takes 2 hits there from Tekla. Snap cuts. There's a stab from Ezekiel. They're both tired as they've both taken some punishment. Good little back and forth. Thrust attempt and then into a snap cut by Ezekiel, taking another flag. Showing better command of the character so far, I would say, but Tekla is definitely putting up a fight. And there's a nice slow move there. But that move does pack a punch, and it can be used off of a parry, so it can be good for breaking up the tempo. Some people think the slow moves of Samuel are useless, but I say a lot of them are just very situational. It's not a matter of anything being useless, it's just you gotta use them properly. Yeah, there were no changes to Samuel, so I highly doubt that they're faster. I don't see anything odd. His speed was updated like a bunch of updates ago, but that was a long time ago. And there's a kill from Tekla. Tekla definitely warmed up now. He's able to play a bunch of characters, so it's not surprising that he's adapted pretty well to Ezekiel's style, and now is playing a very, very sharp Samuel, I would say. Good sidestep, but he does get tagged as well, and doesn't end up winning that trade, making it even. This is good for both fighters in the sense that they both have won some points. That is the key, even if you do lose. You do want to earn as many points as you can, as that is the criteria for winning. It is not wins, but obviously if you win everything, you know, you have the most points. So if you just don't lose, you're guaranteed to win, but that is kind of a tall order against all these good players, so sometimes it's best to focus on just scoring a bunch of points. Especially if you are losing, but right now it's even, so both of these fighters have had a really good performance this first round, which is very good for them. Bunch of cuts from Tekla, getting a bit aggressive, but staying tight. He's not overextending. He's trying to catch Ezekiel on a mistake. So far, no mistakes from him, though, I would say. And they clash swords a little bit, keeping at maximum range there. They're not really going much further than that, respecting each other. And I like that. It's become kind of a chess match now. Stab from Ezekiel, trying to get a nice hit. Doesn't land. Good dodge there from Ezekiel, also raising the blade to defend himself because of that flourish that Samuel does. Oh, Tekla almost caught Ezekiel in a mistake there, but Ezekiel was able to cancel into a block. Good thrust from Ezekiel. Blade is beat. Very nice tactical game to end this, but Ezekiel finding an opportunity as Tekla moves to just lunge straight into Tekla and stab him in the body, getting a nice kill. A risky move, but that was the perfect opportunity to land that. So Tekla got 6 and Ezekiel got 7. Very good play by both of them. Now we've got the 2 Russian players on our server battling it out, Tau and Oak. And that'll be the first round completed once we get these 2 in. And Oak, because of the numbers, you will be playing again against Ezekiel. And Ezekiel, if time is a massive concern, we can play all of your fights, and then you can just go do whatever you need to do. So if that's gonna be a major concern going forward, let me know, and we can try and accommodate that and just have you fight all of your fights. That can be a little bit difficult though, so I won't make you do that, but if you want to do that, let us know. We'll do Oak versus Tau for now, though, since they're both here. Okay, so I expect a Laszlo from Oak, but Tau is kind of a wild card because he's not really a saber player, he's a longsword player, but I was going to say, yes, Jan is one of his most played sabers lately, and I think Tau thinks that Jan is the most powerful saber right now, so there's definitely a strong argument to be made for that. Barabash is pretty tough, Laszlo is pretty tough, but perhaps Jan has the most tools. Tau does play a good Gideon, though, and can use him if he needs to. Quick hit from Tau, then a snap cut. Oh, wait, did you guys, I think the sides are wrong, but we'll just play. I think the players picked the wrong side. That's okay. If they're both fine with it, it really doesn't matter. We'll be switching sides throughout, so... And at this level, I don't think it'll change anything. It's a bit of a hassle to go in and switch them now, so I'm not gonna do that. But it's worth noting that Tau is on the left, and that... So not Tau is on the right, I'm confusing myself now. And Oak is on the left. Alright, and that's a double. Tau so far, very dominant performance with Jan. I found that as well, that Jan is a very good pick against Laszlo specifically, so that might have also influenced this choice. Corkscrew there from really close in. We've seen some amazing comebacks from Oak though, so I would not put it past him to adapt to Tau, especially since Tau is not just a saber player, he plays a ton of longsword, so there might be some opportunity there to use his expertise. But so far, snap cut. I mean, Tau is all around a good player, so this is not easy no matter what. And then a good snap cut to the arm. Horrific wounds on Laszlo. For some reason, the decals are very exaggerated on him. Even a snap cut can leave just the most horrific gash you've ever seen. But it doesn't necessarily reflect the damage. That's just the decals being weird. So that retreat cut there from Oak. Laszlo also has a very powerful one of his own. Just doesn't reach quite as far. Tau trying to wrap around, hit that arm. Doesn't quite work. Trying to dip under for a stab. Very good move. But Oak knows about it. That's why he's backing away. And then beautiful false edge cut from Laszlo. Oak definitely staying in the fight. Going for an upcut, then a Vineyard is what we call that. That sidestep cut to the head. Tries to dip under. Doesn't quite work. I think Tau's just a little bit too far to use that. And there he was a bit too close. And it's very difficult to judge distance sometimes against someone who moves like Oak. And Oak will punish every little mistake you make. Good stab from Oak. Oak tries to finish it, but Tau dashes away just in time. Snap cut there from Tau. Trying to dip under again as Oak moves in. Snap cut, but gets run through. Forcing a nice double. Retreat cut. A stab attempt. Not really a stab, it's more like a push cut, but it is a thrust. Even if the game doesn't quite consider it one. Good cut. And there, Tau got tired, and Oak just immediately saw the opportunity to close him down. Dipping under the stab. Big cut from Tau. Making this a very close run fight, and I'm hoping we see more fights like this, because that'll mean the title of Hussar is very well sought after. And Tao actually wins it. He maintained quite a lead at the beginning, so I'd say it's a win well deserved. But Oak, nonetheless, putting up a very good fight. Okay, I got pinged about something. Like for now, if I'm okay, if I will let you know. Okay, I get what you mean. No worries. So Ezekiel is fine for time at the moment, so we don't need to rush it with him. Nonetheless, Ezekiel, it is your time to fight, so join whenever you're ready. Okay, Ezekiel on the left, Oak on the right. Let me. And it's quite possible, by the way, with that last mishap that I was the one who made a mistake, so that's not a problem. Nonetheless, I can confirm it is correct on my end this time, so that's good. Ezekiel with Samuel again. Very good performance earlier from him. Definitely some strong competition this tournament, and that's very good to see. Feints there from Oak. Oak then moves in, but good defense from Ezekiel, causing Oak to back away. And Oak is trying his trademark in and out style, not trying to stand still. He gets stabbed though, despite the blade beat right in the hand. The blade beat, I guess, was a little bit too late. All it took was a little bit of penetration to that hand. Might have to rewatch that, but it was a nice hit from Ezekiel. Double. Retreat cut there from Oak. Oak trying to dip under there, and this time it works with that nice lunge. He knows that Samuel guards a lot of those quadrants very well, so he's trying to really mix it up against Ezekiel's defense. And again, it pays off as Ezekiel tries to stab, but I think it was a bit too close in. Especially against Laszlo, you don't want to be that close to him. But it's easier said than done when Oak is determined to close that distance and to punish every small mistake you make. Threatening that false edge cut, and then Ezekiel was baited, I think, resulting in that lunge getting past his defense. And Oak immediately punishes that failed stab. He knows that he set it aside, so he beats it down again and then slices the arm open. Big cuts from both of them, and Oak got so close to just taking that hand right off. Nice exchange between the two fencers here. But Oak is looking to win this, so he can really apply that pressure. And he actually doesn't pay for it despite taking two glancing injuries there. So Oak takes it 7-1. Very convincing win. And a very convincing win against a good competitor, might I add. So that's a very important victory, I think, for Oak. Tao against Roderick now. And yeah, Jan definitely has quite the range, as Bear mentioned. Runs with bears. Okay, Tao is up next, and he will be fighting Roderick. Both fighters are here. Excellent. We're getting through this pretty quickly now. Once things start flowing, it moves pretty quickly, as we all know. Hopefully we'll be done it relatively quickly. Okay, Tao on the left, Roderick on the right. That's weird. There we go. Was worried for a moment OBS was glitching out, but I think it's working fine. Like I said, Tao on the left, Roderick on the right. Let me just double check that Roderick has keyboard. He does. Let's try that again then. There we go. Probably was just away from the screen for just a moment. Not a problem. Yeah, you can't play longsword. No longsword. I don't think that was on purpose, though. I think he just overshot it. Yeah, especially since it's Roderick we're talking about. Not really known for Isabella, so I'd be very surprised if he went for Isabella on purpose. He is a Gideon player, though, so Gideon is not a surprise here. Tao sticking with Jan, and there's a pause there. Hopefully everyone's fine. We'll pause it here and then just long guard when you're ready to go. Probably just a leg spike. Tao has actually sustained an injury as well in the middle of that, despite landing some hits there. And there's a third hit, but Gideon is a very thick boy, so it's not going to be so easy to kill him. And that's a double. Big cut, doesn't land. Tao definitely looking to keep this clean, and he actually manages it there, that cut. Sweeping aside Roderick's attack and hitting him. Goes for a stab, but Roderick just goes in. Gideon's a tank, you bet. You bet. He has the highest HP in the game. Jan has decent HP actually as well. It's a little bit higher than some of the other sabers, but not a massive difference. But yeah, Gideon definitely has the power and the HP, but he does lack the versatility and the range. I say he lacks versatility, mind you. He definitely does have some interesting moves. I just think, like, for example, his stabbing game. He's got a stabbing game, but maybe it's not the best out of the sabers. He's definitely more about getting close and hacking and slashing. And there's the slow-mo. It's just slow-mo on death for the most part. We haven't really seen any random slow-mo, so that's good. There's a cut dipping under the guard from Tao. Pressure's definitely on Roderick here. Tao just needing to watch his stamina. Jan can definitely expend a lot of stamina with all the attacks that he likes throwing. But he's aware of that. He calms down a little bit and then goes for the kill. Some taunting there. Corkscrew attempt. Big cut coming upward. Grab attempt. 2 grab attempts from Tao. Does not work. Obviously didn't time them quite correctly. And there's a cut from both of them, resulting in a trade. Dipping under there, Tao. Doesn't kill him. But Roderick definitely getting tired from all those hits. Keep in mind, Gideon might have more HP, but his guard is more exposed, so he kind of pays for that a little bit. Roderick trying to, nonetheless, use some precise counters here. Tao trying to play as cleanly as he can. Goes for a grab, but again, mistimed. The blade reaches him before he can get the grab. Tao probably needed to keep the pressure on with cuts there. There's a snap cut to the head, does not kill. But that bigger cut to the head does. As Roderick moves right into it. Big cut from Roderick, punished with a snap cut. But there's another upward cut. Tao caught in the middle of his own attack. Trying to dip under for a stab again. Doesn't connect. Big cut there, a push. Roderick, though, managing to dash back a little bit, but it doesn't quite keep him in the fight forever, as Tao is able to reach just far enough to secure that kill. Good parry from Tao, but again, he went for some type of push or a grab and got punished immediately. Roderick staying in the fight despite that hit. Big false edge cut from Roderick, almost taking the hand right off for Tao. Tao almost got sniped there from that chop. Gotta be careful. Nice exchange there. Roderick again almost capitalizing on a mistake from Tao. Definitely had the tempo advantage, but Tao keeping his defense solid. Good grab from Tao, but Roderick was ready for it. And Roderick trying to snipe the hand. Doesn't work. Tao with the back Y. Sniping Roderick in turn. 7-4 for Tao. A nice victory. And points difference can matter if you are tied with somebody, so getting these sorts of victories is also very good. It is a secondary tie-break condition, assuming the points are equal. Okay, Apostle versus Pekla. And afterwards, our fight is obviously cancelled with because Plebeian was disqualified, so we will move straight to Oak versus Apostle. So Apostle, if you could stay in the parsec, that would be helpful. Because you actually will be fighting right away because of that change. Apostle's here. Pekla is here. Excellent. Apostle, you'll be on the left. Pekla on the right. And just double check. Pekla has keyboard yet. Oh, hang on, I thought hopefully I didn't click anything. Yeah, alright. A lot of options you can accidentally click on. But I didn't, so. No calc. No, we're going back. You can't use calc here. That's not a saber. It is a straight blade, so it does not count as a saber. Okay, Apostle going with Yazik, which I think we've seen him play before. I remember him trying Yazik out. Yazik's definitely quite viable. He has one of the best guards in the game, and he's fast. Like a lot of the sabers, I say that about a bunch of them because the sabers are pretty well balanced overall. But he's definitely not quite as tough as he used to be, and I don't know. I think he's kind of mid-tier, maybe low mid-tier for a saber. Yeah, but it's only the French and the Swedish, so I don't think the French and the Swedish, they base it off like if it has a saber hilt. Yeah, you're not wrong about that, but I'd say the vast majority, a curve is a mandatory requirement. Yeah, that's a whole meme we can get into. It's one that I've posted on the Discord. the definition of saber is actually kind of complicated. And as for Alex and Tarnowski, Alexander uses a Nimcha, which is a North African saber, so we do count him as a saber. And Tarnowski uses a Dusak, which is kind of... I tend not to consider Dusaks a saber. It's a short weapon. I tend to consider them more like hangers, messers, that type of class of weapon, cutlasses, but... gameplay-wise, he is pretty similar to a lot of the sabers at the end of the day, and some Dusaks are saber-looking, saber-length, so we kind of compromised and we're like, instead of just forcing him into Dusak category, which would be just Tarnowski and that's it, we decided to make him part of the sabers, so he fits the definition just enough that I'm willing to allow him to be a saber, especially because Laszlo's sword is not that different in length, so... I think if Laszlo is a saber, then Tarnowski can be considered a saber as well. And Marina actually has a pretty short saber herself, but she's in a different category because of the shield. Yes, Tao mentions that I made that pitch with the Hussar title. And we're still looking for feedback around that, so let us know what you think. And no worries, Runs with Bears. I'm glad that was helpful. Focusing back on the fight, Pekla definitely struggling here. Yaz is proving to be a force in this fight, and it has been a nice fight so far. I know someone in the chat mentioned that. It's rambling on about saber terminology and stuff, but all the same, it has been quite a fight despite the difference in score. Pekla is not going to make this easy for Apostle. And big surprise, Pekla is a good Laszlo player. He's good with pretty much anybody, but Laszlo's exposed arm right there definitely proving to be a problem as Apostle manages to take it. Very precise strikes there from him. That'll be 7-4 then for Apostle. Apostle, don't leave because you're fighting right away. Against Oak, in fact, it looks like, which will be a tough one. And another Laszlo, though, so you've been warmed up to fight Laszlo. So I'd say you're in the best position to try and take him on. Good, he's still here. Longswords are banned because it is a saber-only tournament. We usually allow any weapon you want to use, but this is a saber-specific event, so we're only using sabers this time around. Okay, both fighters are here, just addressing the question. Which is a fair question. He's probably very new, so he doesn't understand why longswords aren't allowed. Which is all good. Oak will be on the left, Apostle on the right. Well, Tarnowski's sword is much shorter than Kalk's, I would say, so I wouldn't call it the same as the broadsword. I'd say the broadsword, it's kind of... It doesn't fit anywhere, the broadsword, but we're getting two characters that have similar swords to that, so there'll be a broadsword category probably in the future. Yes, in regard to the system they use, they're actually pretty close. But as far as the weapon itself, it is definitely different. So actually, that is a good observation on your part, because they do use the same system, like the same master style. So that is a good observation that they do feel similar despite the fact that they're different. That's definitely on purpose. But yeah, they're quite different, and Calx obviously is designed to both cut and thrust, so we put them in different categories. Anyway, I'll try and focus on the fight this time around. Apostle so far doing very well, taking full advantage of Yazid's speed and his guard. So he does take a hit to the left arm there. Now he's tired, manages to back away, and that movement actually saved him the first time, but the pressure was on. I would say they were distinguished in Canada, actually, because Canada is part of the British Empire, basically, until 1867. But even in 1867, we're like part of the Commonwealth and not fully independent for a while. So Canada usually follows the same definitions as Britain does. So if it's a curved sword, it is a saber here. Plus, you got to keep in mind we have like Highlander swords in Canada as well, because there's a lot of Scots over here. So Canada definitely differentiates, and I don't know about Mexico. I can't really speak on how Mexico does it. It's really the Americans that are the ones that are weird. But even in the US, I think, like, my understanding is if it's on foot, it's a sword, but if it's a cavalry sword, then it's a saber. So they've got a really weird way of looking at it in the US that is not really typical. So there's no, like, infantry officer sabers in the US because of that distinction. But most of the world, it has to be curved, and that starts with the Mongols and the Turks and everybody else, so I think broadsword should be its own category. They both went for some sort of punch or push. That was nice. Until they trade hits. Moves forward with the cross cuts. Good hit from Oak. Oak needing one more now. Apostle had an initial advantage, but Oak adapted very well and was very good with applying the pressure of Laszlo, such that the guard did not prove to be enough of an advantage for Apostle. Very well done from Oak. Now I get to fight Pekla, which will be pretty exciting. Because I don't know who Pekla's going to actually use. There's a lot of potential characters. Yeah, Siant, unfortunately your advice is going to be very delayed. Because of the way YouTube is. It doesn't matter how I mess with the settings. It'll always be a little bit delayed, so... Yeah, so your advice is a little delayed, a little bit too late, I think. But I appreciate the support for Yazlik players because there aren't very many of them, and Apostle probably needs all the help he can get against such a tough opponent. But yeah, I think by the time you mentioned that, it was already over. But yeah, the leg cut against Laszlo, probably a good idea actually. I can say from experience that going high-low, if you time it just right, can absolutely mess up his mobility. So definitely a good idea. And I believe Pekla takes the left side, yes. If anything, if you want to give advice to people, you gotta get right into VC. They'll hear it pretty much right away. Anyway, that's where we get the feud, if you want to call it that, between Maestro and Tao. All in good fun, of course. I'll go with Alex this time. I think Pekla might do the same, so that'll be exciting. Let's do it. Very brave from Pekla, but I saw him kind of gesturing towards Alex, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna use Alex. As soon as I saw that, even if he switched it up, I wouldn't have minded, but... Oof. GG, Pekla. That was a very brave pick, like I said, because Pekla doesn't have a bunch of experience with Alex, I don't think. Whereas I do, obviously. So, mad respect for trying that. That's not an easy mirror for somebody who doesn't know how to play him. Especially if you don't know, like, what foot is forward, because that changes the cut you're trying to do. So it's very technical. Still, some nice back and forths there. I mean, it definitely wasn't trivial. If I wasn't playing clean, Pekla would have definitely got some kills there. He knew at least the sidestep cuts and stuff, so I had to be careful not to overextend and to not attack at the wrong time. You just gotta get crazy like Piper does Pekla, and you definitely could be good with Alex as well. That's really the key. Get crazy with it, and then you might mess me up. Okay, Tao and Ezekiel. Alright. Tao on the left, Ezekiel on the right. Sorry, I just heard something in the background. Well, I didn't mean to do that. This stupid, because I'm what's happening is I'm hitting Control F10 on reflex because I'm used to doing that. But there's this other Steam recording feature which is very similar. Anyway. Okay, Ezekiel's here, Tao is here. Tao, I believe, on the left. It's not a big deal. You can easily delete the clips, but yeah, I gotta go in probably and edit that a little bit. It's nice that it's not, if I'm not, hitting a combination like that, that it's very difficult to accidentally do. But it's funny that it just happens to be a similar input to the stream overlay from before. Peklo's crazy as it is, getting him even crazier is like opening a Pandora's box. Yeah, definitely. I think it's just he's got to learn the character a little bit, because Alex is like the one character that he hasn't played much of. I think everybody else he's played a fair bit, so. And I think Peklo is doing it as a stress test, as he mentioned. So there was method to that madness for sure. And just wait for it, he'll definitely get better with that. With Alex as well. I mean, honestly, if he can play Calc well in his current state, and Marie well in her current state, he can play Alex with some practice. It's not that difficult once you've learned him. Alex is definitely one of the meta saber picks lately, so by no means is he weak. Ezekiel, of course, going with Sam, by the way, Tao going with Jan. And this matchup can be interesting because they both have similar reach. I'd say Jan has higher offense overall, better offensive tools. So I tend to favor Jan personally, but a good Samuel can still win this matchup 100%. He's not outranged the way certain other sabers are. And his guard is definitely better than Jan's, although Jan's is not bad, it's just average. There's nothing wrong with it, it just isn't quite as good as Sam's. Definitely better than Bar Bashes though, just if only because he has more blade to block with than Bar. But otherwise, they're very similar. Punch into a cut. Stab attempt. Nice parry from Tao. A little bit of a cancel as well. It's like their blades winded for a bit there. Unfortunately, that's not really a mechanic in the game. That's just how the blades interacted at that time. Would be cool, especially if long swords to see that. I stab from Ezekiel, getting a nice kill. There's a thrust. Another thrust. Big cut to the body, though, from Tao. Tao looking for one more kill here. He's been playing very well with Jan. Snap cut to the arm. Nicely done from Ezekiel. And that's another thing that Sam has that lets him compete, is that he's got some nice snap cuts of his own. Oh, but he goes for a big wind-up. I think that was a cut to the leg, and Tao immediately punished it. Tao is a solid Jan player, so that was not easy. 7-4 victory for Tao. Tao stay in because he will be fighting Apostle next. I think he noticed, so he's still here. Next again because Plebeian had to leave. And then I get to fight Oak, which is really exciting. And I'm not sure which character I'm going to pick. It kind of depends on the day with Oak, which character is best to fight him because he's so good. But I think the fact that I've mastered a bunch of saber characters has helped, but in some ways, only having one character and just sticking with that character is also a huge advantage, I think, for Oak. So it can go horribly wrong, but at least I feel like I've got a bunch of tools I can use. But at the end of the day, we're so evenly matched; it could go either way, depending on the day. Uh, did that again. Okay, Apostle will take the left, Tal will take the right. Tal going straight for Jan. And Sava, man, when he gets out, I'm sure he'll be a really good character. Unfortunately, we still have to wait. Kubold said a character is coming out soon, but remember he said soon. He didn't say like any specific day. So with Kubold, that could easily mean a week or two or more. But we don't know who it'll be. It could be Sava, it could be the Scotsman. It could be Helmet Guy as well, which will be interesting. Grab there. Taking the head right off. We haven't seen many grapple kills so far. It's been a lot of exchanges and stuff like that. But Tao is very good at landing that type of thing. That's why he was trying it earlier. Soon can mean 3 months. Yeah, sometimes I think it has historically meant that as well. You're not wrong. Yeah, but it's better to hear soon. Like, if you hear absolutely nothing from Kubel, it could be even longer, so. You know. Corkscrew there, Tao applying some nice pressure, getting some blade contact, trying to read his opponent, and a perfect parry with that sidestep, resulting in a kill. And that's more or less how you want to use that move. The push. Tao managing to dip under that guard, just applying tons of pressure, showing us that even a really strong auto guard like Yazix, if you can just keep applying pressure, it does make it difficult for the opponent. If the opponent is too passive or just doesn't have the tempo advantage. Sidestep is so inconsistent in blocking. Well, yeah, because it's to do with timing. So if you time it right, you will block pretty much every time in my experience, but assuming the cut is coming down onto the blade properly. But if you're just sort of throwing it at random times, then whether or not you'll actually parry is completely up in the air for sure. The best way to use it might even be to wait for your auto guard to connect with a hanging parry and then to do it. But I haven't really tested that. Definitely some interesting things to test there, but it is 100% to do with timing. And there's the corkscrew from Tao. The corkscrew is still pretty solid, I would say. Doesn't feel nearly as broken as it used to be, but it's definitely a tool that Jan does. Need to use, I think, to really start applying that pressure, especially if you mix it up. And Tao with another really good victory as far as points. So now I get to fight Oak. Helmet guy, yeah, he's been teased for a while. I didn't realize there was even more than Sava. For some reason, I think Sava was teased for longer, but maybe I'm wrong. It's been so long, everything's sort of blurred together in my head. But yeah, it has been a while for both of them, regardless. I'll be on the left. Oak, you'll be on the right. Just switching the names. Unfortunately, I gotta click off and all the rest of it. Okay, I got pinged again. Just 1 second. Last 3 matches in one go. Roderick, Apostle, and me. Yeah, but Oak is right here, so if you're able to just hang on for 1 match, we'll do that first, and then we'll do your matches. So right after this, we'll finish up Ezekiel's matches so he can go and do whatever he needs to do. I know he's a firefighter, so like his schedule is kind of it varies by circumstances and whatnot. It might be something else though if he's got time to like do some matches quickly. Because if there's natural emergency, you gotta go. So it's obviously something different. Nonetheless, probably very tight schedule, so I understand. And yes, I decided to go with Jan. My anti-Laszlo saber of choice. Hopefully it'll work. Oh shit, I'm throwing this away big time now. That's Oak for you, man. He'll make a comeback if he needs to. nice. I thought that was gonna land, but even if it did, to be honest, that cut to the head is probably more dangerous, so nicely done. Still, I got 6 points, and it came down to the last flag, so I'm happy with that, for sure. And yes, Ezekiel, you can join right away. We'll get your fights out of the way. And Roderick, that actually means you're up. Don't need to send 2 links. Oak does not like fighting Yon. I don't blame him. And it was, yeah, it was a crazy back and forth towards the end. So Ezekiel against Roderick. Ezekiel is on the left to start us off. And if possible, make sure you're ready to go because you will be fighting right after this, just to get Ezekiel's matches out of the way. I don't know why it clicked. I think it clicked right away, but that's not where my cursor was. So let me just go again. God, I hate those settings so much. I even almost clicked the slow-mo, which would not have been good. Sometimes the matchup feels straight up unfair, but then I remember Laszlo's OP in his own right. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So many of the sabers are actually really tough, so. Don't get me wrong, though, I get it, because Yon can dip under so quickly with that one stab. So I get why you don't like it 100%. I'd feel the same way. Like, to be honest, I wouldn't pick Laszlo to fight Yon either, so. I think there was a time when Laszlo was better, but that time has definitely passed with a lot of these changes to Yon. And even old Yon, I mean, if you played him a certain way, like Luck used to play him with those stabs and the belly lunge, it was still kind of a tough time for Laszlo unless you managed the distance really well. Laz lacks those stabs. Yeah, he only has 1 stab, right? Actually, no, 2 stabs, correction. But one of those stabs does not come in straight. And because of that, it's not a really good counter to a lot of what Yon does. At least you can do it as a combo, though. Starting with the upcut, so. There is that, but you can't use it as a counter thrust to a lot of those thrusts, so. Not a lot of utility as far as the long range moves. You gotta use his footsies to the full effect. Tao says 50-50. True, up close, Laszlo definitely can dominate. Yeah, very true. We need a better data set for sure, but there's not enough people playing the game to give us that data set, but nonetheless, yeah, we've seen Laszlo win. I mean, Laszlo just won our fight, so yeah, it's definitely not impossible. Good sidestep there from Roderick. Yon lacks fast, reliable sidestep attacks. Yeah, that's a good point as well. It's not that they're all bad, but they have to be timed very well. Laszlo's got those really quick cuts to the side. Being able to control distance with Laszlo is a lifesaver. Yeah, that makes sense. Ezekiel maintaining a good lead. He's a very strong Samuel player. Roderick can play Samuel pretty well too. He's kind of like me in the sense that he sometimes picks different sabers, despite being known for Gideon. In my case, I'm not known for Gideon, but a similar thing going on. We're trying to be a lot like Kexoid, where we can switch it up if we feel we need to. But Ezekiel is truly a master of Samuel, I would say at this point. He always does well no matter what host he's on. Challenges the best regularly. Good snap cut all the same. Good thrust from both of them. Downward cut. There's that sidestep, a punch, but oh, he did a taunt before he did the punish. I don't know if he meant to, but that was so funny. He could have just executed him immediately, but he went for a taunt first. That's funny. Still had the window. That is, oh, I'm surprised that leg void cut didn't land. Very surprised. But Ezekiel takes it. Okay, 7-5. That's a shame right there. With Samuel's guard, sometimes you can never be sure what the cause is for something not hitting. It could have, because he recovers the guard very quickly, so even despite the visuals, that might have been what happened. I don't know, though. I give you keyboard, Roderick, if that's... Hopefully that's fine. And you have controller by default. But... Oh, sorry, did I ping you, Pekla? I don't think you're fighting. Yeah, it's Apostle. For some reason, I thought you were Apostle. It's because of your name. You both have Apostle in your name. Your apostles are different things, but yeah. I think that's what happened. Anyway, Ezekiel on the left, Apostle on the right. Don't worry, we'll get you fighting soon, Pekla. And we're actually doing very good for time, despite like me being a little bit late and despite having these small, but not a game breaking or anything, technical problems. Start time was 11 o'clock officially, so even considering that, it's only been an hour and a half. For a tournament, that's not bad. Ezekiel on the left, Apostle on the right. Alright, let me just double check. Yeah, Apostle's here. Maybe you just need to restart it. Again, Ezekiel left, Apostle right. There we are. Sometimes that's all you gotta do. For one reason or another. Back to Samuel, Yazuk as well, and this is a matchup we don't see a lot of lately. But they both have very good guards, and they're both pretty quick. So, it'll be cool to see these different styles interacting with each other. I think Samuel is more straightforward to play, though. Taunting after a punch is a new level of disrespect. You bet. Yeah, that was nuts. Oh, that cut missed, but he's tired. There's a cut across the... Wow, that was... I don't even know what to say about what happened there. But Apostle won that brawl. It probably literally just came down to the fact that Samuel has low HP. When I say low, by the way, it's not like that massive of a difference, but it can matter when you're just trading cuts like that. You know, it's enough. And it was quite a round indeed. I don't even know what to say. Besides that. stab there, cut under. That was really nicely done from Apostle, actually. And there's a stab to the leg. And actually, Ezekiel able to recover. Yazuk turned on his main character plot armor. Yeah, you bet. He's got the... He can't die after all. And that's the upcut there, usually aimed at the leg, but this time it hit the hand because the hand was extended out there. And again, a single tempo action there from Ezekiel. Yazuk's plot armor maybe not working so well anymore. Sidesteps. This time he breaks through the weak of the blade. Good to see that it's working properly for Yazuk. That has been an issue that he's historically had. But now his guard seems like, while it's still quite strong, you can definitely bash through it if you hit the right part of the blade. There's a thrust there. Good block, but goes for a really long wind-up attack there. It's a cool attack. It just, I don't know if it was the right call against what Samuel was doing. Ezekiel playing a very tight game now. He's adapted well to his opponent. And a bit of a trade there, but Ezekiel was dealing the most damage in the end. Stab to the left arm, actually, not the body. And that might have been decisive in deciding that engagement. Big cut there into a snap cut, but that allows Ezekiel to get a nice clean counter to the hand. As that attack was not a threat to him because of what he did. A stab aimed at the arm, but the blade is beat. A dash attack, there's a hit to the arm. Ezekiel trying to finish with a cut to the leg, which would have been awesome to see. Stab again, but Yazuk blocks it. His guard is pretty solid. There's another stab, doesn't hit properly though. A cut to the head. Ezekiel eventually managing to force his way through. That is 7-4 for Ezekiel, and now he fights me. So let me double check the sides here. I take the left, Ezekiel takes the right. And then Ezekiel will be all done. Yeah, definitely going Alexander here. I feel like he has a bit of an advantage, but I can't underestimate Ezekiel. He's definitely a master with his respective character, so he will not make it easy. Alright, GG. Good game. And that's it for Ezekiel. Thank you for coming in to compete. Always glad to see you. You've definitely improved a lot over the years, so I hope to see you fighting in more of these tournaments, whether they're saber only or just regular tournaments. You've improved a lot, and I've seen you in some of Venator's tournaments too over the years, and you've done incredible even against him. So a lot of potential there. You'll get it eventually for sure. Okay, Tao is now fighting me. One moment, Discord lagged a little bit just for a moment. Hopefully that wasn't my PC. I think it was just Discord. Because everything else seems to be running smooth so far. Okay, let me just make sure I have the sides correct. Alright, Tao will be on the left. Oh, whoops. There we are. I'm gonna go Barabash. I was thinking about Yon mirroring or maybe going Alex, but I think I'll give Barabash a go. Because I'm really experienced with him, so that's my thinking, but the reach disadvantage might be a problem. Oh, probably some lag. Yeah, just longer when you're ready, Tao. Excellent. another lag spike. That sucks. It kind of breaks up the rhythm, but I'll wait. It's no problem. Alright. I feel like we were just in the midst of an exchange when that happened too. GG, Tao. Nice close run fight right there. Okay, Roderick and Pekla, you get to fight now. Hang on. Okay, Roderick on the left, Pekla on the right. Roderick, make sure you stay in because you'll be fighting again right after this. Despite what it says, because Plebeian's not here. Okay, you both got keyboard, excellent. God, it is so easy to accidentally click slow-mo. Thankfully, it'll be a check mark there if that happened. It's kind of a small... When you keep adding random features, especially features that people generally don't use, you end up making it very easy to hit stuff that you don't want to, and for things to be switched on that you don't want switched on, especially if there's a bug. It's just not needed. You can tell Pekla's the one on the right with how he's moving. He has a very particular way of playing the game in general, to be honest, not just Tarnowski. Very cool to see him finally making an appearance. Big cuts from both of them. Pekla can't quite reach. Unfortunately, we're stuck in the slow-mo. To be honest, it's just slow-mo on kills that I've been seeing. It's really nothing game-breaking. There might be some other scenarios where it happens, though. I wouldn't be surprised. But so far, it's been very clean, so that's good. You see weird cancels? That's Pekla. Yeah, 100%. Most people know how to manually feint, but when you see cancel shenanigans the way Pekla likes doing them, it's always him, pretty much. That's his style. He's aggressive, he messes with your head. But that was a very clean cut, despite that. The voice is not in slow-mo, but the whole animation was. Yeah, that's the problem. It's a little inconsistent, but the audio does not match it. Good cut there, punishing a bunch of those sweeping strikes there from Roderick. And that's definitely what Roderick's trying to do anyway. He's trying to fight clean, but Pekla's not letting that happen. He went low, but Pekla was already ready with another cut. That was an interesting low cut that Roderick used, by the way, that we don't tend to see often. So that was nice to see being used. Flicking with long guard there, Pekla trying to hide his intentions a little bit. But his intentions became pretty clear then when he started throwing a bunch of cuts. Roderick keeping his cool though. Big cut from Pekla would have punished if Roderick tried to sort of mindlessly riposte, which is something that people often do with sabers because they're trying to punish the cut. But Tarnowski is unique in the sense that he often saturates you with all these big cuts that make it very difficult to just cleanly counter once and get a clean hit. You gotta be very careful. But Roderick with a nice wraparound there from that long guard. Pekla loses the fight, but it was well fought by both of them, I would say. Roderick again proving that he can play a bunch of saber characters. Maybe Tarnowski will be the play. Roderick, you're still fighting. You're fighting Apostle now. So I'll invite you both. We're already almost done round 6 because of how that turned out. So far, believe it or not, like Tao and I are even in as far as points. So, and actually even wins and losses. So, it's still quite competitive. And there's still some points to be won. Ezekiel, by the way, did pretty well. Oak has the opportunity to get that 3rd place from him, of course, but 4th place, that's pretty damn good in an event like this, I would say. So still plenty to play for, but it's, I think, primarily a competition between Tao and I for that Hussar title. Alright, so Apostle will take the left, Roderick will take the right. I won't delay any longer. By the way, earlier in the tournament, if you were paying close attention, you might have noticed Eve was messaging me about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. He says he'll probably wait for a sale, but he's happy to hear that it's a good game, and he's definitely thinking about getting it. So that's good. Nothing from him about joining the server yet. I haven't been pushy with that. I just mentioned, you know, people miss his calc and they miss his Gideon. I certainly miss it too, but nothing from him about that. We'll just give him some time, and if he wants to rejoin, he can certainly do that. He'll be welcomed with open arms, but if not, that's his prerogative. Would love to see him participating in these tourneys, especially the saber tourneys, which I might do a little bit more often, but not, like, I'll make sure if I do that, that there will be plenty of normal ones too, though. So, we'll see. And I also want to give other weapons a chance too, so, like, I think the trap we fell into with some of the matched weapons titles was that we didn't do enough with the other weapons, so, yeah. We'll have to make sure there's a variety if these specific Hussar's Honored tournaments are more common. Because we want everyone to have a chance to play, so, and to play at their best. Apostle going with Alexander here, which is very smart against Samuel. What is Kingdom Come Deliverance even about? It's about Medieval Bohemia and the succession crisis that took place in the early 15th century. About a delivery guy. And it's a medieval RPG, pretty realistic for a game. Obviously not perfect, and it really shouldn't be. I feel like if it was perfect, it wouldn't be fun, but many of the moves are inspired by HEMA, and the armor looks pretty good, especially in the second one. The second one has really good armor. The first one has good armor, but it has some problems from a visual perspective. But even that game still was much better than many of the stuff that came before. I think especially what they got right was the scenery and the castles. It's just exploring all that stuff is incredible. So I highly recommend it if you're into that time period, if you're into HEMA, if you're into anything like that. The game allows you to refuse to do side quests. Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of freedom of choice. Of course, there's a story that you have to follow, but there's definitely plenty of choice as well, especially in the open world. And the premise of the game too is that you start off as a commoner. You're a blacksmith. A blacksmith's son, I should say. So you're not even a blacksmith technically, but yeah. And you're in a village. So you're not some big shot knight, you're not some noble, a king, a pope. You're nothing like this. You're just a commoner from some village. And I won't say any more than that, but it's very interesting and I highly recommend it. I gotta stop doing that. I can delete them all, but yeah, I never used to do that. I obviously have it set that way, but that's okay. All right, Pekla on the left, Oak on the right. Some cuts from both of them. Oak obviously going with Laszlo, but Pekla shoots in. Nice hit there. Ooh, exchange there. Somehow Pekla's cut didn't really hit though. And up close when it gets messy like that, Laszlo does tend to have the edge. Nice interaction there. They both clash with swords, but Oak finds the opportunity to close in and takes it. Going with that false edge cut, trying to take the hand off. Pekla's defense was solid, but then he moved into that lunge. Good pressure from Oak. Pekla with a snap cut, but then retreats to the back Y, getting a nice hit to the arm and another hit to the arm as Oak does a bigger cut. that is in theory more threatening, but sometimes all you need is a handful of snap cuts. Even one snap cut, if it's well aimed, will end the fight as well. So Oak has to be very careful of his timing. This time he is. Instantly wins a flag, punishing Pekla's mistake. Pekla has some cuts out of measure, trying to provoke, trying to see what Oak does, trying to stay as safe as possible, keep himself out of harm's way. But Oak is able to, again, close in. Take that hand right off. Good attempt trying to hit the leg, but that leg void saves Oak. And they both lunge with a similar attack, resulting in a double. Good exchange. Pekla out of measure. Oak actually hitting with the hilt there that time, so it didn't quite land. And that results in a double because it was really messy. Pekla on the attack now, trying to hit the arm. But that results in another double. Pekla definitely looking to win some flags back, and he's not afraid to be aggressive to do so. So Oak has to be a little bit careful, and there's a hit to the arm, punishing the back Y. There is a window to punish it because of that rotation that Laswell has to do. Laswell trying to snipe again with that false edge cut. Good attempt by Oak. Oak shoots in, and that guarantees a kill, so it's good that Pekla managed to hit back. Blade beat there, but Oak is eventually able to recover, get some nice retreat cut. Thrust attempt does not land, and Oak secures the win. Good try from Pekla, definitely made it competitive at first, but Oak does what he often does, and he eventually adapted and took control. Pekla, you're still fighting, believe it or not, and this will be your last fight. You will be fighting Tau. Yeah, I neglected to mention that. But that'll be a neat fight for sure. And we are on the final round, so this will be the last few fights here. So this will be Tau's last fight, of course. Tau, you're on the left. Just trying to get in the game here. Maybe the game crashed? I'm not sure. There we go. Yeah, you can see that there. If you pay really close attention, when I move my cursor down slightly, the check mark almost, like it appeared as if I was highlighting it. So that's how easy it is to accidentally click it if you're not careful. But thankfully it's clear as day if you do. So Tau on the left, maybe I didn't give Pekla a keyboard. I suspect I didn't, yeah. So there you go, you can play now. Gideon versus Jan. And this is a very important match for Tau, because Tau needs to score as many points as he can. Ideally with the best points difference he can too, because that'll give him the best chance of winning that title. So far he's been a menace this whole tournament, so he definitely has it in him. But Pekla going with Gideon, so he's determined to power his way through and make Tau's life as difficult as possible. And that snap cut lands, but Tau does take a cut in turn, which he can't really afford to do in this matchup. And again, almost took a hit to the head. Pekla definitely not going to make this easy for Tau. As soon as he finds a moment there to close in, he takes it. Is that a bug, or is that Pekla canceling a lot? That looks a little strange. It might be actually, I think there was a Gideon had some sort of bug that looked like that. a little bit strange, but it's kind of mesmerizing Tao a little bit maybe. It definitely makes it tough to see what he's trying to do. So in a way, it might help Peklo a little, despite how strange it looks. He's also playing solid, though, to be clear. It's not just that. He's cutting in the right measure, and obviously this is very good for me. but all the same, I do hope Tao is able to dig in here, because the closer the fight is, the better from an entertainment perspective, and I want to see Tao do the best he can. Pekla looking to get a flawless win, which would be very good for him as well. Again, that twitchy movement, it makes it tough to see if Pekla is fainting, if he's doing a weird cancel, or he might be doing a weird cancel, in fact. I would be really curious to know, because that makes it very difficult for Tao to tell what's going on. But Tao is definitely digging in here, and some people call this the Subutai effect, where you're about to lose, suddenly you dig in, and of course I just cursed him. That's the Subutai curse in action. But some people call it that, where you're about to lose, and suddenly you make this epic comeback because you're aware of that, and you just adapt to your opponent out of nowhere. But didn't quite play out for Tao. I think in mentioning it, I just cursed him. So, sorry about that, Tao. The curse is much more powerful. The commentator's curse is much more powerful than that. That is cancel. Wow. You cancel after the initial frame. That is wild stuff. Yeah, but his blade's not curved, so he's not a saber. Okay, so Oker's up next, fighting Roderick for his last fight. Let me just ping Roderick so he knows. And then I get to fight Apostle, so that'll be exciting. Okay, Roderick on the left, Oak on the right. Yeah, those cancels from Pekla were wild with Gideon. And the fact that Gideon is actually reasonably fast in short bursts, and to back that up, hits very hard, makes it very difficult to counter sometimes, I imagine. Especially if he closes you down the way Pekla was doing. Definitely strange, probably a bug, but thank you, Pekla, for showing it all the same. Pekla's a master of that kind of thing. And that's part of why we do these events and stuff as well. Ultimately, we are testing the game. We're not just here to have a good... I mean, we are here to have a good time primarily, but there's kind of that aspect of it as well, since it is early access. So... Good retreat cut there from Oak, but it does result in a double thanks to that horizontal cut. And knowing Pekla, he's probably the only one who can replicate that too. I'd be surprised to see that from Roderick. Ugh. Big yawn. I'm not bored, I promise. Mostly just tired, probably will be next week as well when I'm more busy. And on that topic, there won't be really any weekday events for about a month and a bit going forward because I'll be doing more of my practicum, but obviously that comes first, so I will not prioritize events over that. But Sundays might still be open, depending. And I will show up at USFC still to commentate and to fight and whatnot. Peckler's in a new master program, and he's busy too. Yeah, Peckler's always been busy. It's remarkable he even shows up, to be honest. I hear about his schedule, and I'm just like, that's wild, man. But yeah, mine's gonna get really tight as well, so I definitely feel that. So, Sundays, perhaps. Definitely Saturdays I'll be showing up to USFC, but from next week onward for about 5 weeks, it'll be rough. But I'll get through it like I always do. And there'll be time for more events after that, so. Hopefully Tau can host some more stuff. Maybe Venator will join the server again and host some stuff. And USFC should stay on no matter what, so that's good. Very close fight so far between these two Saber Masters. Roderick on the back foot though after that stab. Cuts there from Oak. Just out of measure there, Roderick, and Oak punishes it. Venator's coming back? I don't know. He hasn't said anything. I'm just saying hopefully he comes back. I have no idea, to be honest. He hasn't said anything to that effect. And I haven't watched his streams closely enough to know if he's mentioned that there, but I don't think he has. Would be ideal, for sure. There's a nice false edge cut from Oak. Good comeback, and he attempted something similar there, but it got punished. Roderick still looking to stay in this fight, give it his best go. Nice cancel there. Some cancels from Oak, actually, too. And there it is. 7-4. Roderick didn't make it easy, though, make no mistake. And now this fight is very important, of course, and I don't say that just because I don't say that because I'm narcissistic or anything like that. It's just Tao and I are very close in points, so this will decide the winner this last round. So it is a final in every sense of the word, so that's good. All right, Apostle, let's do it. You will take the left, I'll take the right. And I wish you good luck. Give it all you have. You've definitely put on some good performances as well. Yeah, you can see that. Like, look, I moved down slightly, and then the check mark sometimes pops up. I can't replicate it for some reason, but it certainly happened there. Maybe it flashes like that initially and stops. I don't know, but it doesn't matter that much. I'm gonna go Barabash. Apostle maybe was thinking about mirroring Alex or just going Alex anyway, but we'll see who he picks. I'm gonna play solid. And good luck, Apostle. GG, Apostle. I think you moved a bit to the left, and then it just landed on your hand because Laszlo's hand is exposed. Still, good attempt at a comeback there. You played well. Definitely punished my mistakes there towards the end. And let's have a look at the standings here. So Oak actually doing very well too. I think I neglected to mention that Oak was actually in the running. It might not have looked like that at the time, to be fair. But no, Oak managed to get the same amount of points as I did. So I consider him a winner as much as me in that sense. But really what decided it here is just that points difference. I had that one points difference right here. So this is actually incredibly close. And you can imagine if Tao won his match, like what that would look like too. That would have been crazy as well. But just imagine if he had the same points difference, it would move on to wins, like the wins versus tied participants condition. So, and I think at that point Oak would have taken the win. So if it was equal in the points difference department, Oak would have won because he beat me. So incredibly close. I can't really overstate that. It literally was just 1 point in points difference. So well done. Good to see the tournament was close for our first run of the Hussar's Honor tournament. And I plan to do more of these, like I said. I'll be careful not to do it too often, though, because I know a lot of people want to play longsword, they want to play rapier or whatever. So we'll make sure those events get a chance. We'll make sure that just regular tournaments get enough of a chance too. And let us know what you think. I was thinking again of making Hussar a permanent title, but if you guys want it to be just like before, where you win it and you have to hang on to it, let us know. We can do that as well. That's not a problem. And if you have any suggestions for names of the titles, because we'll have like unique names for each of the weapons, let us know. And when I say each of the weapons, axe and like sword and shield will have their own as well because they're kind of alternative. We'll kind of lump them together probably, but all the same, let us know what you think. If you have any feedback, just leave it in general, leave it wherever, and we'll have a look because we're still editing stuff. Nothing is set in stone. And beyond that, thanks everybody for participating. It was an incredible tournament, and we'll see you next time.